Okay, so filming a quick video, and this one's actually about, and we're back to Loom videos, just because I wanted the Google Doc, is really about why am I making content? Why am I putting things up on YouTube? So I kind of split it into these five things, and literally as I've thought of it, there's kind of a sixth thing. Now, this isn't the whole list, but these are kind of the main six pillars as to why I'm making YouTube videos, why I'm making content, why I tweet, all that kind of thing. Um, and I'll go through each one, and potentially people might resonate with one of these and think about some of the other ways they can craft these, things, either by making their own content or some other things that they might be doing. So the first thing is distribution, right? Now, what does distribution mean? Obviously, when you're starting a business, now a lot of my businesses have been B2C businesses, right? Consumer businesses, heavily reliant on Facebook ads, really not reliant on me as the face of the business at all. I did make some content in terms of like where I was a spokesperson for some VSLs and things of that nature, but really you could replace me with an actor or something like that, and it would still have near enough the same effect. So all of the businesses or all the income that I'm generating as of right now does not rely on my face. I don't really do consulting calls. I don't have an information product. I don't really do any of that. And I don't have any kind of like B2B businesses that, the content feeds in lead flow. I don't, and all of my consumer businesses have really nothing to do with me, right? But what does this distribution mean? Is if I want to start other businesses later, so these can be information businesses. You can think of course selling guru, whatever, Discord, paid group, whatever it may be. B2B services business, um, even a software business, things of that nature, you automatically have a distribution advantage if you have a large online following. Now, my online following is very small right now. I think I have about 1,000 YouTube subscribers, maybe 10,000 Twitter followers, whatever. That's not really a lot if you compare to like Nick Huber and Cody Sanchez and Andrew Wilkinson, those guys who have huge followings. So, really, this is probably not a huge advantage here unless I went something very specific and niche, which would probably be here. Or if I did say a B2B services business that again was very, very specific or niche, or a software business. So I'd really have to go very specific and very niche for this to work. Or what I would have to do is start to go a lot more broad with my messaging, probably hire a team, probably have videos that appeal to the masses as opposed to very niche and specific videos to then, with the aim of getting more subscribers. So right now, this isn't a huge advantage, but it is an option for me later down the line because I have a little bit of that initial momentum. And simply by posting videos, I understand YouTube a little bit more, what gets views, what doesn't get views, all that kind of thing. So this is, a distribution. So I'm trying to build that distribution advantage and give myself the optionality if I ever do want to open a different kind of business that maybe is more reliant on my face or where I can use myself as a competitive or unfair advantage. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you've noticed in all of these videos, and I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to redo the font, everything is shot one take off the cuff. And why do I do this? Why don't I cut the video? Why don't I pause the video? Because for me, when I shoot these off the cuff, it's training my ability to effectively communicate. And if you go back to my original videos a year ago, you'll see there are probably more ums, there are probably more stutters. So simply by making these videos, and I've only really made, I can't remember, maybe like 10 or 15, my ability to effectively communicate has improved, right? Now, what does that mean? It means when I'm conducting meetings with employees, potential hiring prospects, new relationships that I'm trying to form, all of these things, the ability to effectively communicate, to basically effectively articulate what you're trying to say and put that in a form that is able to be absorbed by the other person. If you're able to do that better, then you're basically going to be able to influence and show people the way and improve really every outcome in life, right? So this is another reason why I'm doing this. I'm trying to train my ability to more effectively communicate. Now, the next thing I'm doing is hiring funnels. Now, the businesses that I'm doing, a lot of the times the offers might be somewhat commodity. The the business itself, it doesn't have, say, a deep technological mode, or it doesn't have, if you look at, like, let's take a business like Prime. You could be very public with a business like Prime because it has a lot of moats that it really doesn't matter if it's out in the public. If you had a business like, what would be another good example of it? Let's just say a very niche B2B software business selling to, governments or something like that. You could be public with that software business because maybe those government relationships have been built over many, many years. Maybe you've figured something out with a specific bit of legislation or law that kind of gives you a barrier of protection. Now, let's compare this to businesses where other founders have been quite public. So we got like the guy off Twitter, Ron, who runs Obvi. We've got the Space Goods guy, Matt. These businesses don't really have big moats, right? Anyone can go to the same collagen manufacturer and literally clone Obvi one for one. So being public, obviously it has benefits for his other businesses, like his media businesses, his sponsorships, whatever, but it's actually very detrimental to his main business. Same with the Space Goods guy, Matt, who is very public with his business, and he's actually said it's now hurting his main business. Now, there are some other benefits of him being public. It's allowed him to raise a lot of capital, which is then actually a moat in itself. And I think the Obvi guys did something similar. So there are obviously always trade-offs. Now, for me personally, I'm not going to be doing any of that for my main businesses. I'm quite stealth with my main businesses because there isn't much of a moat in that sense. But the moat is the IP, the SOPs, and then obviously the talent. Now, if I can get an edge in terms of people wanting to work with me because they fuck with my content, that's another moat I can add to my business. And that's another reason why I'm doing this content. So it allows me to hire probably young and upcoming talent, specifically direct response talent, which can be difficult to come by. Where I can give them the knowledge, the IP, the processes, whatever, and they can kind of run with it. The next thing is joint ventures. So I've actually started 2 joint ventures this year. They're still in the early stages. So whether they work long term or not still remains to be seen. But those 2 joint ventures, the people who are helping push those along are basically people that I met through Twitter and then personal brand and things like that. So they're relationships that I built purely from posting content online. So again, posting content allows the opportunity for more joint ventures, for more things where maybe someone's skill set matches up with your skill set. Maybe you have capital to give and that person has, skills and a specific bit of knowledge. Maybe there's opposing knowledge. It doesn't really matter. But this content, the more content I put out, the more connections that I can potentially make, the more potential joint ventures. And then obviously you only need a couple of those to work really well. And, you can make a lot of money and obviously learn a lot from that person who you're building with. So, it allows me to find more people for JVs, more people with different skill sets, which brings me on to my next point. I'm not going to have this in a whole other subcategory, but what it also means is that if I can reach people with opposing skill sets or, knowledge in a completely different area, a good example of this is this week, I think I should have a call with someone who's very good at raising capital. He's got a banking background. He's done a lot of M&A, all that kind of thing, big institutional background. Now, I've got a very, very different background. Through a couple of tweets, I'm hopping on a call with him. I'm obviously going to give him a lot of my knowledge. And then in exchange, I'm getting his knowledge. Now, that's knowledge that's built up over many, many, many years that I'm really getting in a condensed 1-hour call that should probably cost tens of thousands of dollars. And for him, that knowledge is probably worth millions. Now, I'm going to go and get that all for free in a condensed 1-hour call. And then I'm going to have his contact for life. Through that mutual connection because I'm a skilled person. Now, that doesn't happen if people don't know what I'm about, if they don't know what I'm doing, if I'm just hiding in my apartment, never posting anything. I don't make that connection. Another good example from this is I have a friend who's gone a very different path of his business. He's gone the venture capital route. He's raised a lot of money. He's excellent at raising money. He's probably one of the best young founders at raising money. And he basically has given me the whole blueprint of how to raise money if I ever need it. Now, that in itself could really be worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars if you can use that to then build a company that has $1 billion or more of enterprise value. So this is what I'm talking about, where by posting this content, it allows for JVs, but it allows for very fast knowledge and skill acquisition, because I now have access to people that I wouldn't ordinarily have access to because they want to tap into my network, my skill set, but they only know about that because I'm posting shit online, right? So again, joint ventures, creative outlets. This is another one. Sometimes, truthfully, running a business can be quite boring. There are just times where it's just like not that exciting. And a big thing is you need to structure things that are fun in your life, or some sort of creative outlet, whether that be like extreme sports, running, weights training, whatever, shooting YouTube videos. And for me, I get a lot of energy when I'm creating content. And that's something I've always done as a kid. So when I was younger, when I was like 9 or 10, I always liked shooting like home movies and random shit like that. So for me, it's a natural thing that I did as a child, and it's something that I'm naturally drawn to. So for me, it's very enjoyable, and it actually gives me a lot of energy to create content, to speak and do all that kind of thing. And I think when you're running a business, and sometimes, again, running a business can be very boring, where it's just obvious what you need to do. Okay, for the next 3 months, we need to do this, 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 and this. These are things that I've been doing pretty much every day for the last 6 months. There isn't much excitement to that. So you need to build in other areas of excitement in your life. And one of those for me is creating content. Now, why is this important? Because if you don't do that, and this is just me speaking from my own experience, you're then looking in your business for that excitement. And sometimes the business just isn't an outlet for that. There just isn't anything that's that exciting happening in the business, because all you need to do is just more of the same shit, and you just need to do it better. And then what happens is you're looking for that excitement in the business. You might try something new when really the situation doesn't call for it. And then it's a form of self-sabotage. So this is very, very important. And for me, creating content just happens to be a good creative outlet for me. It also helps me articulate my thoughts, which then, helps me for decision-making in things that are happening in my business anyway. Because if I'm giving advice on a lot of these things, and especially if I go through a lot of my old videos, decision-making frameworks, what's a good e-commerce product to sell, like these are all from mistakes that I've made. So I can go back and go, I spoke about this 10 months ago, yet I'm ignoring my own advice. So it's another important thing, not just being a creative outlet, but also to actually follow your own advice that you're giving to other people. Now, this is the last one, planting seeds. So I call this it's probably pretty well intertwined to hiring, to joint ventures, to new business, but it's literally just like, I'm going to put this content out into the world. I'm going to make sure it's high level content so people fuck with it. And whatever happens from there, whatever new opportunities happen to arise, that's what happens. I'm just planting seeds. I don't know what they're going to grow into. Is it going to be a lemon tree, an orange tree, a bouquet of roses? I don't know. I'm just planting seeds. And by doing this, by putting things out into the world, I'm planting seeds. And it comes back to another video I did where I'm trying to reverse engineer how to get more lucky, just giving myself more opportunities to get lucky. So giving myself more opportunities to get lucky. And you never really know what this leads to, right? You know your North Star, you know where you're going. You don't really know exactly how you're going to get there, but you're just planting yourself and giving yourself more seeds. So 15-minute video. Will be interesting to see what people's thoughts are, going back to the Loom videos and back to the Google Docs. But as always, if you have specific questions, comment, and would be much appreciated if you obviously liked, you shared, and you subscribed.